good morning again. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about continuous functions. For this one, we have a line that is connected. So continuous starts with AC, continuous also with AC. So anything that has a line that is connecting is a continuous function, which means that instead of just the individual dots that are on this graph, we actually can include all of the values in between, but it would be really cumbersome if we had to write each one of those values. So in order to show the domain and range of a continuous function, we are going to use inequality notation. In order to do this, the rules stay about the same. Now, something that I tell the kids to do first is if we're dealing with domain, the first thing we're going to do is we need to tell people which axis we're dealing with. Domain is always x. So I am going to start by writing the x variable in the middle. Again, I am dealing with the x-axis, but I am going to cross the x-axis, so I should be holding my pencil in the up and down direction. I am going to start at the left, and I'm going to go to the first point that I touch my graph, and I am going to draw a vertical line. I will then circle the number I cross. In this case, it is a -6. This is the minimum value that I will cross for my domain. I am now going to continue to move my pencil vertically until I hit the highest point on my x-axis. I will draw my vertical line, and I am going to circle that highest value. That tells me my highest value is a 5. I am almost done showing the section of the graph on the x-axis where it resides. The last thing I have to do is put my inequality symbols. I do tell the students you are always going to put a less than sign no matter what. Now, if it is an open circle, we leave it alone. If it is an arrow, we will leave it alone. However, if it is a closed dot or a closed line, we are going to put in the less than or equal to sign. This is now my domain. In order to do my range, same thing as before. But again, we want to cross the y-axis. Since I'm going to cross the y-axis, I'm going to turn my pencil this way. I am then going to start from the bottom, and I'm going to go up to the lowest point that I touch my graph. So please notice that the lowest point, I'm actually going to drag this down a little bit more to make it easier to pick a number. The lowest point is not the endpoints. It's going to be where I first touch my graph. In this case, I'm going to draw my sideways line, my horizontal line, and I see that I'm crossing through a -3. So I'm going to go ahead and write my -3. Now again, this was on the y-axis, so I should have put down my y. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move up until the highest point that I touch my graph. The highest point I touch my graph is here. Again, I hold my pencil sideways. I'm going to make my line sideways. I cross at the +4. Just like before, I'm going to put my inequality signs. And now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to check to see if I need to add anything more. At the -3, this is a closed line, a solid line. So I'm going to go ahead and add my equal to, less than or equal to sign. I'm going to move up. At the highest point, this here is a closed dot. So I will be adding that sign as well. This is my range. If I then need to determine whether or not it's a function, I can do my vertical line test. At any point that I go through my line, I only hit my graph one time. So yes, this is a function.